Everyone's forgotten about East Palestine, Ohio. They have. And I understand that. I'm not indicting anybody. I'm not pointing any fingers. There's a new story, new scandal every single day. But we shouldn't forget about them, should we? Have all these people who are suffering. It's not their fault. And everyone just kind of moved on. The president never cared to begin with. Joining me now, Shane Cashman. He's a reporter at Timcast News. Hey, Shane, what's going on over there in East Palestine?
Hey, Jesse. It's pretty sad. They're living in a type of limbo. You know, like you're saying, we're in a revolving door of tragedy in this country. Our bandwidth kind of stinks right now because we are, when I'm in East Palestine, that first day there, the Nashville shooting happens. And these people, obviously everyone's mourning that, but they're watching basically like the tide recede from them onto the next tragedy. And it's been that way, for many, many years now. So being there, I just see a lot of people who don't know who to blame anymore. They don't know if they should blame Norfolk Southern. They don't know if they should blame the EPA, their own governors. Everyone's kind of outside of accountability right now. And I think that's why they're not giving any answers, because once they start giving real answers is when you can start to point the finger at someone.
Okay, well, Shane, are they getting any help, whether it be government help, Norfolk Southern help, private organizations, charities? Is anyone coming? Because I know this is not a wealthy area. Everyone just tells these people to move as if they all have a second home in Barbados somewhere. Are they getting anything from anyone?
Okay, so I believe Norfolk Southern gave everyone $1,000. So which is everyone told me that, laugh like you just did, because these people are definitely, they're definitely blue collar. They can't just pick up and leave. Most of them have businesses which are right on that main street, which is Market Street technically, which the railroads go right through. So their businesses were affected. The florist I spoke to in the story, she couldn't even do her flowers for Valentine's Day, which is obviously a big day for her. So Norfolk Southern gave them that, which is laughable. There are people who are coming in to help, which is great. There's a lady, Soup Mama, who got her start going with the truck convoy across the country as a chef, basically. She has now become this person who arranges different large donations, goes into different towns like the torn areas, I believe in Mississippi, East Palestine. She's helping give out clothes, food, water. If you go through town, you will see pallets of bottles of water everywhere, behind the churches, along the roads. So the people have come together. And then, you can look at the EPA. There's a temporary office that's opened up on Market Street, which is right near the, where the wreck happened. And depending on who you talk to, people there have different opinions of the EPA. Some people think they've been helpful. Other people think they're useless. I think they're basically there to just be a type of confessional booth for people to come by and be like, I don't know what's going on with this, the federal level, the state level, and they are facilitating some tests at some local areas for whether it's livestock or people's streams and their properties. So when I'm there, I'm watching residents go to this office and they're basically venting. They're saying, well, who's helping us? Why aren't you testing this now? Why aren't you worrying about dioxins now? Why aren't you, what was the one thing I saw? Oh, people are worried that the wreckage site, their address has supposedly been moving east from the original site. Now, I talked to the EPA through email. They wouldn't talk to me in person. So they didn't answer that follow-up of mine. I wanted to know why that was possibly happening, because if that is true, it's changing the radius of the people affected. So I don't know if that's the truth yet. The EPA hasn't answered that for me, but I think these people are just in a limbo where they're terribly worried about the health of themselves and their children.
Shane, let me ask you this. Everyone, well, I shouldn't say everyone, a bunch of people are becoming aware of a lot of train derailments, a lot of this food processing plant, this dairy farm, there's been a lot of fires and explosions and derailments, and there's been a lot of logistical and supply incidents, to put it very, very mildly, in this country over the last year. Now, I don't know what's going on. I don't have any idea. I don't know whether we're under attack, whether we have an incompetence problem. I don't know what's going on. But it seems like something is going on, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've been calling it a pandemic of incompetence. I couldn't tell you if it's planned or not, sometimes it feels like it is. I don't have those answers, but it feels like we are watching the infrastructure of this country collapse in on itself. You know, watching East Palestine, watching these people suffer, them telling me how all the Hummers, all the National Guard, all these the police presence all left basically the day after the train tracks were put down again. It shows me while they're suffering there, all these other disasters are happening that we're just talking about. I don't think we have the bandwidth to handle all of these tragedies, whether it's the dairy farms, whether it's the train derailments. So whether or not it's a planned thing, which sometimes it feels that way to me, I don't know. I do know that we are not properly handling the situation. These people in Ohio are certainly suffering. And I guarantee the story will be the same if you go to these other places, such as, you know, my last day in Ohio, the barges crashed on the Ohio River by Louisville, where supposedly methanol may or may not have leaked. While I'm leaving Ohio, the mayor of Philly is doing the photo op with the sipping of the water to say the water here is safe because they had another. I don't know if it was a derailment or a crash with the barges or what. So it seems to be happening everywhere. I just don't know if it's something that we're paying attention more to now because of how horrific a image like the plume of smoke in East Palestine was, or if we're really watching something ultra nightmarish.
You have a piece up for Timcast called Invisible Mountains that I thought it was a fascinating read. What are you talking about?
Thanks. I'm basically talking about how we, in this country and probably the rest of the world, are people living in alternate realities because we pick and choose their narrative. We're basically fed a diet through media, depending on which media you want to read into, whether it's independent media, whether it's corporate media, and we can look at the same bit of evidence. It could be a video and come away with a completely different story, whether it's the George Floyd narrative, the Kyle Rittenhouse narrative, and in this story you're talking about, I talk about watching the January 6th. January 6th happened with my grandma, who my grandma was on a very healthy diet of NBC. So she's watching something that to her looked like a horrific storming of Normandy situation and invasion. And I'm watching just being like, it paled in comparison to what I saw the previous summer with the riots, right? So, you know, it basically starts off with this idea of, I knew a gentleman who did literally flee a cult. And his cult believed that they were immortal. They believed they couldn't die. But what happened was someone did die in the cult. And they basically had to warp their belief system from the cult around this reality, which was obviously not true. You know, obviously people die. He witnessed it. And, you know, he through by chance, he found a book. And the book basically told him this idea of the invisible mountains, where if you're traveling or you're on an adventure, let's say, and the map says there's a mountain there and there's a mountain in front of you, great, the map works out. But if you're there where the map says there's a mountain, but there's no mountain, you can either say, I'm going to change the map up, or like certain people with certain media diets, they will twist their reality to fix the real reality to match what's on their map. And I think that's a terrifying place to be.
It is. It is. Shane, I appreciate you, man. That was awesome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.